Welcome to the Podski. What? Ooh, yeah.
You understand, baby?
Dig it?
Let me tell you another thing.
First name John, last name Baker. Uh-huh. Brother.
Hello and welcome to the Podski. I'm your host, the man of 1,000 gimmicks, John Baker. It is episode 42. We are going to review the WWE Draft in night 1. And tonight is night 2 of the draft. We are recording this on Monday night, May 1st. It's going to be May. And it had to
You said this was number 42?
Yeah.
Well, I got to shout out former Forest Hills Ranger fullback linebacker Ryan Ford.
Shout out.
Big shout out.
I don't know any other 42s other than Juan Pablo Montoya.
Okay.
Jackie
Hell of a driver.
Not in NASCAR.
I don't know who it is.
You're Andretti. He wasn't a part of the Andretti racing team?
Again, I don't pay attention to what the competition does. I focus on being the best version of myself.
Except in these Pizza Wars.
Oh.
You want to get into this right now?
No, we agreed to a demilitarized zone called the Podski.
I might be going back on
We
that.
are.
Look,
Let's keep it
just
civil.
wanted to-
Keep
I
it
just wanted
civil.
to say one thing real quick, and it was, sometimes there's people that are in, developmental for a really long time, and then they get pulled up to the main show. So I just wanted to say congratulations to Indy Hartwell, JC, for getting pulled up to the main show here on the Podski.
It's all happening for me. I'm graduating. I'm hitting the main roster. Still don't have a job, but we're getting there.
Hey, we can consider it a tryout. This is a tryout.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And we got no Mongoose today, who I'm pretty sure, he's over there crying and complaining about doing too much yard work and his throat hurts for whatever. Right on what kind of weeds he's been cutting down. I have no idea, but I think we know what really happened was the old lady got mad at him again for buying a 3-foot tall Yosaki Yojimbo at Target. And he got killed for it at home. This is my guess.
Yo, Jimbo Heat.
Oh, T's and P's.
And not even one of the ones that have the articulation. It's just a big 3-foot figure that only the shoulders, only the shoulders and the hips bend. That's it.
Oh. I have that same kind of range of motion, so I get it.
Oh my, T's and P's to the goose. He is has no voice today, so that's why the pizza wars are colliding on the Podski.
I told him to come on here and pretend like he was Brian Pillman, but he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything for the rest of the day.
Apparently, when you get a really scratchy throat, that means you can't send texts either.
Oh, jeez, just burying him. He's never going to come on here.
He's never going to hear it, so it's all good. We can just keep burying him all we want. He's never going to hear it.
She took his podcast privileges, made him delete the app.
He's not allowed to have Wi-Fi for the next 3 hours.
This is like a 5-year-old.
Oh my.
Oh God.
But look, the pizza wars is coming. It really is coming. And Baker, you saw the video I put on Facebook.
I did.
JC, I tried to send it to you, but I got to give you permission to see it. But I'll go in and do that tonight. But look, man, we got about 25 names on a list right now that we're going to put into divisions, and then me and our buddy Dolan are gonna go do it. So that'll be sometime in probably around the 10th to the 15th of July. So I'll be giving everybody updates on what's coming up with all that pretty soon here. But yeah, man, really excited about it. I mean, I found a bunch of places last night. Because here, what we do is, the first time we did it, we had 16 pizza places in the war in the first one, right? And then we invited back the top 8. Okay. Well, then last year we ended up only doing, I think, like 12 or 14 or something like that. So we didn't really have much turnover, but we said this year we wanted to add a bunch more. so that we could get more pizza shops involved and get more options out there. So I think we're going to try to hit 25 over the course of a couple of days instead of doing it all in one day. But I mean, we're going to be covering everything, man. I mean, it's everything from like Delmont, outside of between Blairsville and Pittsburgh, everything from there all the way to like Huntington, and then probably as far south as maybe like Somerset all the way to Hastings. So we're going to be covering. Actually, I think we might try to go to Burnside, because Burnside Pizza is reopened. I found out, and we used to stop there when I was a young lad in my first year going to Clarion, driving back and forth up to Clarion University. We used to stop at Burnside Pizza and eat there once in a while. So we might try to hit that. So we're going to be covering probably 25 in that local area. And look, man, this thing gets bigger every single year. It gets expanded across, more counties every single year. So maybe next year we'll do 35, but I'm really looking forward to it. I know my, Dolan's super excited about it. Starting to get a little bit of buzz on Facebook about it already. So I'm definitely looking forward to jumping into that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, the Laurel Highlands Pizza Wars is phenomenal. And you mentioned something just a second ago about a place that reopened, and I just sent something in the chat. I want you all to see, because I want you to pop for it. But there's a huge announcement here in the world of the Podski that we've been really sad about for a while, but there has been big news to report that totally went missed for an entire month. And the big news is that the Milky Way is back and it's under new management.
No way.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Look at that.
I sent it in the chat. They made an announcement a month ago. They've been reopened for a month now.
Well, hell, now I can get me a hot dog and a piece of pizza and a taco on my way down to pick you up.
Yeah. Now you can add them to the Pizza Wars.
Holy cow.
And you get diarrhea for free.
I'm glad to hear that, man. Because I know there was a little bit of speculation that they had sold the property to Sheets or to Rudders, and the people were kind of upset about that. Because look, you want to try to keep the mom and pops open as long as you can. And they always had a ton of business in there, man. I mean, they had hundreds of people on the payroll working there at any moment. They, $20,000 a week in payroll guaranteed, if not more than that. That's a lot of hot dogs, man. That's a lot of hot fudge sundaes to sell that, but to cover that payroll. But I'm glad to hear it. I've got really fond memories of the Milky Way. I'm going to be stopping there again, man. I can't wait to go in there and eat too much food and throw up all over the place like I almost did whenever you and I hung out.
Oh yeah. So that was the big news. That was the big announcement that I found out today that I was really excited for the fact that, they're making it through new ownership. It's not going to be a Sheets. It's just going to stay the Milky Way, the way we like it. So
when you said today that you had a big announcement, I thought you were going to say this was the last show. This was the last show we're doing.
After I went ahead and put all these episodes on YouTube, they're going to live in infamy because that's it. If you are listening to this and you are listening on YouTube, this is not the end of the show, but I'm putting a lot of the archive shows I've got up until around episode 28, I think, from what we've done now back to 28. So we have almost half the shows that we've done are on YouTube now. So if you're checking us out the first time on YouTube, make sure you go back and listen to all the other episodes, or you can check us out, however you listen to your pods. If you want to jump over to YouTube and check it out, feel free, because we're the Podski is growing. We've expanded to YouTube now, so we're taking over. And
I'm here for it. Love it.
But yeah, so we got the draft was this week.
Hold on, we got more stuff we got to cover.
I know. I'm not jumping into it yet. We are going to talk about the draft later on. This weekend we got Backlash, so JC and I kind of talked about that a little bit this past week. I don't really know what more we can really talk about, because we have 2 more go home shows before we get there. But I know that Andretti had a lot of things that he wanted to put over. It's not like a lot of things. It's good. It's just like so many things have happened over the last week and a half that take it away, Andretti.
I mean, I don't even know where to start with this. So, I started making notes about an hour ago, so everything's kind of all over the place here, but happy birthday today, Booker T.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Happy birthday, Squire Dave Taylor.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
All right.
And
Shout
since
out
this-
Squire Dave Taylor.
Yeah, since this is going to come out on Thursday, happy birthday, Mr. Fuji.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
And also, happy birthday, Ryan Shamrock.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Is that Ken's son?
No, it's the girl.
Sister.
The sister, the fake sister.
Oh,
That might have been before your time, Bank.
that was before my time.
Oh, come on.
then
Go back
today-
and watch.
Today, I found out was National Melanoma Monday. So I guess we're celebrating melanoma today for Monday. I don't know how that works.
Shout out cancer.
Shout out melanoma. You know, you're doing a hell of a job, melanoma. But we wish you weren't. But you're doing a hell of a job. But also today was National Bus Driver Appreciation Day. So I wanted to give a shout out to Stan the Man from Bus 5. We love you, bud. We know you're a fan of the show. We
Listens
hope
every
you're
week.
we hope you're still driving that bus. And if you're not with us anymore, I hope you're driving that bus on the astral plane and having a good time doing it, man.
Love it. Love it.
So
Word is
also-
Stan the Man is he's an avid WCW guy.
He probably
in the,
is.
In the 2K Wars, the Monday Night Wars. Well, I guess it'd be Monday, Friday Night Wars. He's a WCW guy, no problem.
Also,
Not for long.
since Thursday is May the 4th, which is Star Wars holiday.
Amen.
I wanted to ask you guys real quick who your favorite Star Wars character is.
Well, JC is I'm gonna have major heat with everybody because my favorite Star Wars character, without a doubt, is Jar Jar Binks, and y'all can suck me for it because I love Jar Jar Binks. He is the greatest. He is an accidental genius, and I want everyone to just think long and hard about that. That Jar Jar Binks is an unsung hero to the prequel movies, and I also went as Jar Jar Binks for Halloween whenever I was a kid.
We need
gonna
that on
say-
socials.
I'm going to say my favorite Star Wars character of all time is General Maydean. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So when I was a kid, there was a True Value up the street, and they sold Star Wars toys. And this was before I had seen any of the movies. Okay, so the first Star Wars figure I ever got was General Maydean, who was like this older guy with a gray outfit that had light blue on his sleeves, and like a gray beard. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that guy's probably such a badass in those movies as a general. And that dude was in that movie for about 4 seconds, dude. But so I went in and looked to see who that was. And it said today he was led a commando unit of the Galactic Empire's military until he defected to the rebels, where he served as a general. As the officer responsible for covert actions, he devised the attack on the Endor shield generator and trained the soldiers who accompanied Han Solo to the Force Moon. At the end of the Galactic Civil War, Maydean went in to serve in the New Republic, a democratic government founded by the rebels. So shout out General Maydean, man. We're here for you.
JC, I know you got heat with me over my choice, but deal with it. But who is your?
First of all, I don't have time to explain getting the car Binks. If you remember that meme. Insert that meme here, John.
Yes, can
On the video. General Maydean, deep cut, but I'm here for it. I remembered he had a weird haircut too, if I remember correctly.
Sure.
Pretty sure. So I grew up with the originals on VHS, the remasters. So I wore those tapes out at my grandparents' house. So you can't see this because we don't record the video or publish the video, but Luke Skywalker, he's my guy. Always has been, always will be. They did him dirty in the newest set of movies, although I can understand being grumpy and wanting to be a hermit if you're a teacher. So I'm for that. But Luke has always been my guy. I know it's an easy pick. but sometimes you got to give the people what they want. Got to give them the right answer. Listen up, Triple H. You can learn from this.
If I'm gonna pick somebody that is a Jedi, mine would be Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I always loved Obi-Wan because he always had the blue lightsaber, and I have a thing for blue light. I always like when I play the games. Shout out Jedi Survivor. If you play Jedi Survivor, it came out this past week. I have not played it yet. I have it, and I have it downloaded. I have about 2.5 hours left of God of War Ragnarok that we talked about also last week. So once I get done with that, then I'm hopping into Jedi Survivor. But anytime I play the games or anything like that, I need a blue saber. So shout out Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that series last year was absolutely fantastic.
Agreed. I am a green lightsaber guy personally, because Luke. But Obi-Wan of the newest set of, or I shouldn't say the newest, of the prequels, I appreciate him now more, again, as a teacher. Because some of the faces he gave Anakin when he would do some dumb shit were just absolutely the kind of faces I would make. There's one when they're in the temple and they just granted him a seat on the council, but not the rank of master.
Yeah.
And Anakin starts throwing a fit about it, and he just gave him a look. And I'm like, I make that look 4 times a day. Love it. So, but no, Obi-Wan is a close second, but Luke is my guy.
Yeah, huge shout out to the prequel movies. They were severely underrated for a lot of years, and I feel like they're finally starting to get their flowers now.
Except Jar Jar Binks.
You're losing the audience here with this.
Are you nerds talking about Tomb Raider? Hey Siri, skip chapter.
So a couple of things wrestling related. I don't know if any of you guys caught the New Japan stuff from a couple nights ago with the King of Pro Wrestling match between Shingo Takagi and Taichi. Did anybody else check that out yet?
I have not. I am so far behind.
Dude, that match is so good.
Really?
Oh my God. They go on forever. They're killing each other. It's just unbelievable. So I mean, look, it's old news now. Taichi goes over, Taichi wins that belt. I mean, that guy he's so much better than what he was in the past, man. Like, he was so good at Wrestle Kingdom. He's done everything good since then. They tied him in with Sonata with that title win. And look, that group is just doing so well. I mean, that's why I think Doki's going to win the tournament. I really do. They got 16 people in that tournament coming up, and there's a lot of really great names in that tournament. Mike Bailey's going to be in it. Kevin Knight, who we obviously love a lot on the show, and we're huge Kevin Knight marks. Clark Connors, I think, will make a big run in that tournament. But I think Doki's going to win that tournament. I really do.
Yeah, so you said the Super Juniors are starting right now?
It's going to be starting soon. I forget what day it is. Coming up, though. It's coming up pretty soon here.
Yeah, the Super Juniors. I don't ever think I've watched a Super Juniors the whole way through. But
well, I mean, the last 4 of them, I think, or 4 of the last 5 were won by Takahashi. So they've got to change things up here a little bit. Somebody else has got to win that.
I think that's why I never end up watching it, because I always know the same guy's going to win consecutive years in a row. Like, there hasn't been has there been a new winner like that hasn't been a repeat in a long time?
I think Ricochet win it once a couple years ago? When was that? Ricochet won in maybe like 2015, 2014 maybe.
I was gonna say I had to be 15 or 16.
No, because he's been in WWE for a while. But it's interesting with New Japan right now, man, because they kind of went all in with people that were like upper mid card guys. Not even that. They kind of went in all in on with guys that have been there for a while that hadn't been able to get over the hump, and it was kind of like, if you're going to do it, you got to do it now kind of deal, right? So they went all in with the whole appearance change with Sonata. That was a guy that was kind of struggling in the mid card for a long time. They went all in with David Finlay, which I think is the right call. I didn't like the way they did it, but they it was the right call with him too. And then I that's why I think Doki's going to be the guy. I think Doki's going to win that whole tournament.
Yeah, so to go back to your Ricochet thing, Ricochet won it in 14. Kushida, who we all know loves the Rats, he won it in 15. Ospreay 16. Kushida again in 17. Takahashi in 18, Osprey again in 19, and then Takahashi's won the last 3.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
No, they gotta get somebody else in there, man. Maybe they will now because they're kind of taking it a little more seriously with letting the juniors challenge for the heavyweight title.
Mhm.
So if they're going to open that up a little bit, you don't have to keep these guys in like dedicated cans anymore, right? You can kind of let people free float, for lack of better terminology here. So you don't need to just put that crown on someone who's going to be the junior heavyweight champion, right? You don't have to do that anymore where that's going to be the ceiling for that person. Because if Takahashi's going to challenge Sonata, that's awesome. And that's really good. And that's breaking the mold for them. So if that's going to be the case, then it's time to give the rub and give the Super Juniors crown to somebody else for sure.
Yeah, totally agree. What else is
I have a question.
Sure.
So you watch this, you watch New Japan much more than I do. Is Okada leaving?
No, I don't think he's going anywhere, but I think they've got to kind of cycle him down a little bit and kind of get him out of the main event picture for a while. And he released a statement, which whether it's real or a work, I mean, who knows? It doesn't matter. But he released a statement saying that he's going to start being a little more focused on the tag team wrestling, which I think is a great idea. You can't just have the same guy out there every second of every day. They need new faces. That is a promotion that desperately needs some new energy and some new faces, especially with losing Jay White was a big one for them, and they've lost some other people too. So I mean, look, they had I always forget his name in WWE. Who's Jonah? Who was Jonah in WWE? Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed.
They had Bronson Reed beat Okada, and he was kind of going to be the next guy. Then he ran back to the WWE. So they've had a couple instances here where they've been trying with other people, and it for whatever reason hasn't happened, or people have left or whatever. So they've really got to get new faces in there. And I think Sonata beating Okada for the first time was a major thing, and hopefully they can run with Sonata for a while and let him be the guy. I don't know how that's going so far numbers wise for them, but they've got to get Okada out of that main event picture for a little while.
Yeah, the problem with having Okada in the picture, like, again, it's like, how many times do we need to see it? Like, he's oversaturated in that market now, which really sucks because he's so damn good. But like, they don't have anybody left for him to face that's a fresh, unless they did like Finley or something like that. But like, there's no fresh rivalries for him, and they're gonna have to like get creative because you're right, they don't have any fresh faces anymore. And somebody like Jonah was really fresh for them, and I mean, they've lost a lot, and hitting the reset button and doing something with like David Finley and all that is a good idea. Like getting Sonata up in the mix and the champion and all that. Like those are really good calls. And I actually am like really excited to see what New Japan does, because they're kind of at a crossroads, and they've already kind of took that step into the crossroads where they need to make the changes. So I am excited to see what they do now.
So Naito looked really good in that match, the last match I saw him in. I can't remember if that was this past show or the one before that, but I think it was a singles match, and he looked awesome. That guy still can go, man. He's still really talented. Tanahashi obviously is slowing down big time. They've got guys that they've been running with for a long time, like Okada and Tanahashi and Naito. They've been running with those guys for a long time at the top, and it's just the nature of the business now, where you've got to switch it up, and they got to build stars, man. And that's why I've been so critical of the New Japan Dojo, especially at least from the American side, the American prospect standpoint. Why I've been very critical of what am I seeing from these guys, right? But now they do have young lions coming out of the New Japan Dojo, and even coming out of the New Zealand area, that look pretty damn good. So those guys, I'm really excited about them. I love Umino. I think he's great. Yuyamura, however you say his name, who's in Impact right now, is a guy on Excursion that is great. Now look, they've got a lot of good things going for them right now. TMDK is really good. The United Empire's taking over everything. You've got Bullet Club re-emerging in Bullet Club with the reimagining of that. So you've got some good things going on there, and you still got really talented people like Tama Tonga and Kenta and people like that who can still carry everything. But they're just they're in an interesting space right now where they've got a heavyweight champion who's not really established. And they're like Mongoose said, man, they're a ticket sales promotion. They've got to put butts in the seats to make money over there. And they tour a lot. They make all their money on their live shows. So for them, they've got to be firing on all cylinders. And just for whatever reason, they've hit kind of a spot where people are kind of getting oversaturated, or people have left, or they're getting tired and they're getting old, and they've got to build new people. And I'm interested to see where this is all headed.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you brought up the guy that we saw at Impact when we were in LA. What's his name again?
Yu Uemura.
Yes, that guy was awesome. Like, he really stood out. JC, you would really like him. He reminds us a lot of Takeshita. And he's really, really good. We saw him a couple of shows, and he absolutely stood out.
He might not be as quick as Takeshita, but he's like thicker.
Yeah.
He looks he almost looks like kind of a maybe a slightly less athletic Tanahashi.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes. That's exactly how we described him as.
The only issue with him is he doesn't have the charisma of Tanahashi, and that's been the criticism of Umino too. He's not quite there yet with the character and with the charisma. But I think those guys are going to be awesome here within another year or two. They're going to be really great.
Yeah, and also shout out to TMDK and Bad Dude Tito. Shout out Santino Bros Wrestling. Also, speaking of TMDK, did you make a purchase this week?
I did. So I got a couple shirts, man. I got a Jay White shirt, a TMDK shirt, a Briscoe Dem Boys shirt, and the Mance Warner shirt. So I got four. I got the tax refund, and I went all in on 4 shirts. That's all I bought.
And thank you, Mance Warner, for liking the County Corner, but you won't like the Podski. Like, win the Podski Royal Rumble, we put you over, and you don't give us anything, and you like Andretti's post for a T-shirt.
Hey, we know who moves the needle here, man. I mean, come on.
That's direct monetization. That's why he liked that.
I guess so. We'll pay him in light beers and eye pokes next time we see him. Hopefully, we can get MCW.
Switching gears in Japan, did anybody catch that last Stardom show?
I'm going to be honest, I still haven't checked out Stardom. I haven't had time recently.
That show was over 5 hours long. I mean, it was a major show. I mean, it was, look, like any other promotion, man. Some of it was phenomenal and some of it was forgettable, right? But the stars certainly shined for sure. But I mean, I don't want to get too into the weeds here talking about Stardom when you guys haven't seen the show. But there's something there with them that is going to kind of tie into. I know we were going to talk about the WWE, the new belt with the WWE, and I think this can probably segue right into that. But they've got an IWGP Women's Champ, they've got a New Japan Women's Champ, right? And the sister promotion is Stardom, who has their own champ. So what are we doing? Like, who is the champ? We've got 2 champs now that are representing 2 world championships on the same show. Like, I don't like the confusion that surrounds that. Who am I supposed to think is the higher champion?
Yeah,
Roman Reigns. He wins them all.
Yeah, Reigns. I mean, yeah. I mean,
if there's 2 belts, Roman has them both.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like you've got a New Japan Women's title that it gets defended on Stardom shows. And you've got a Stardom champion that is recognized. I mean, that Stardom women's division is the best in the world, and people know that. So if somebody is the champion of the best women's promotion in the world, are they equal to the IWGP champion, or are they better than the IWGP champion? I don't like how we have 2 belts. I don't know why they don't just combine that belt.
They're doing the whole brand split thing again, and that was the biggest complaint whenever they did the brand split the first time, is who is the better champion, who's the more meaningful champion. And for all intents and purposes, a lot of people would say, well, the WWE belt was the WWE Championship was the most prestigious prize, and that was the undisputed belt, and then they also had the World Heavyweight Championship belt. So I think that it can create a scenario where they could do, they need to have. I don't know what the real answer is here. I personally like it because I'm used to two brands with their own champion. That's what I grew up with, so that's what I like. I know that it died, and I sound like a hypocrite because I talk about AEW a lot and how they muddy the waters with champions. But
you're about to get even more in AEW,
right? And we can get to that even too if you want to. But I like if they just designate two champions and you designate two rosters. There doesn't need to be the flip-flop back and forth that there always is. We need if they're going to do a brand split and a true brand split, it has to be a split. And it never is. And there's always exceptions to every rule. It's pro wrestling. They can do whatever they want. But that's the biggest issue that I feel with fans like Andretti, where you feel like they're getting diluted, where I feel like we're kind of resetting and we're like able to showcase somebody. Because that's the problem. That's the problem with WWE. They have no way to showcase somebody like a Seth Rollins or a Drew McIntyre outside of the mid-card titles. And if they do something like this is an easy way to start showcasing those guys to elevate them even a little bit more. That's where
I think the problem I have with it, Bake, is he's the undisputed champion because he won both belts. Okay. And if you introduce another belt, that means there are three.
Okay. So now he's not undisputed anymore.
Right. So what belt is dead?
There is no dead belt.
So does that mean that someone can challenge him for one of the two belts that he has? And then we have three champs.
So here's what I think it will probably happen. I think that they're going to end up merging the undisputed belt and making it a singular belt again. And that will be it'll probably be something like what they did in the early 2000s when they did that original brand split where they had the WWE Championship and then they had the World Heavyweight, the Big Gold. They merged them together into that first undisputed belt. Then they reintroduced Big Gold on Raw. So I think it won't be a 3-belt system. It'll end up being a 2-belt system, but they got to get there first, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Maybe whenever Roman at Crown Jewel, when they start dancing for Saudi Prince and he hits the 1,000-day mark, they do unveil this new undisputed belt, because
I really hope they do that.
I'm pretty sure that's what haven't they already said that he approved belt changes like in multiple belts. So I feel like it can't stop with this reimagined Big Gold. I don't know.
I also think we have to think about it not as, the thing with Vince, a belt holds up your pants. It's about a title. And whether you agree with this nomenclature thing or not, like I'm sitting here looking at a picture of the tag team champions who are holding 2 belts.
Yeah.
They are the undisputed tag team champions. I think ultimately it's about the name of the title or like the title of the champion, not the belts per se. They just haven't done the transition. But like at the same time, so you kind of have the opposite problem with the tag titles. Are you going to split those titles? Are you going to do...
Let's hope.
Yeah, honestly.
Or
do a world and a WWE.
I would rather
they
have
did
them
that before
combine.
too.
I would rather have them be one belt. I would rather have it be one title.
I would personally rather them have one true tag champion and it travels back and forth. I would like that too, because I don't think their tag division is deep enough to have it split.
I agree.
And
it's usually like it's either a team who are a team, or it's 2 guys who are together.
And they're just throwing them together to get them working.
Right. Exactly. Ricochet and Braun Strowman.
Correct.
They're just guys.
Put a giant and a cruiser guy together, they'll make it work.
Right.
Unless you are Strowman just hucking a dude like a
missing
ring like a moron. God.
So that's borderline almost deep there, John. So
almost,
I think you have to.
I can't stand Strowman.
Yeah. I think you have to think about it from a title perspective. And again, it's all just made up in the world. They're gonna do what they want to do. So I don't know. It does muddy the water to me a little bit that there are two belts there with Roman, and it feels like it's a transition time. Like, I agree. I think they're going to eventually just make that one undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight, all the adjectives, title, and then you're going to have the world title on the other brand. And again, you talked about it. I don't think they'll ever have a true brand split where it's just one and one. But they really ought to, because like if you guys remember, earlier, before Roman had the WWE title, they did that Roman versus Drew match.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was a good match. It was hard hitting. Like, from a wrestling perspective, it was a good match. But from a perception perspective, Drew lost. And it's like, all right, so now the WWE champion means less than Roman, and okay, that's part of the build. But that's the belt that dates back to, Buddy Rogers.
Yeah.
So
it's because when you bring champions together and then you beat them, well, then you just make your other champion look worse than what it is. So I don't know. I personally, Andretti, we didn't get to ask you about this last week. What are your thoughts on that big gold belt? Like, just aesthetically.
The first time I saw it, I didn't like it, but now I like it a lot.
It's one of those things that after you see it, it really grew on you.
Yeah.
I really like it. I can't wait to see it around somebody's waist. I'm kind of, what do we think is going to happen? Who are potential candidates for that belt?
Rollins.
Well, that's a good time. I was going to say that's a good time to segue into the draft.
Yeah. So do you have anything else you want to talk about, Andretti, before we hit it, or JC, got anything else you want to put over?
No, the only other thing I had was I feel like that new belt is going to be like Cody winning the TNT title. And then him saying this is not an undercard belt, and it's going to be an undercard belt because the undisputed belt is the main belt. That's what I think is going to happen. It feels like WWE being WWE.
I know. Well, JC is happy because he bought those tickets for Raw and he wanted to make sure that Cody was on Raw. So if we want, the only other thing that I wanted to talk about before we get into the draft is that this weekend on AEW, they're doing a steel cage match with Omega and Moxley. And I didn't watch AEW last week. I'm too much into NBA right now. Like, it's the playoffs and I'm a Heat lifer, and the Heat took out the number 1 seed, the Bucks, last week. So I know this isn't a basketball podcast or anything like that, but they just had my attention last week. And I just, for some reason, AEW just isn't. I seeing a steel cage match. That gets me excited. That makes me want to tune in. That makes me feel like and how terrible does that sound? An old style Dynamite match. So like, I'm very excited for that. I really want to see that. So I'm definitely going to tune in on Wednesday, and also go Heat. Fuck the Knicks. And but yeah, that was the only other thing I wanted to put over before we hop into the draft. So but yeah, before, when the draft did come out, Triple H actually came out and laid out rules to the crowd. So I actually thought that was actually a really well done thing that they did, because usually the draft is just a bunch of loose ends that you never really get clear cut. I mean, we can get into that too, because there still was a lot of loose ends that the draft did let up here. So every superstar was available for the draft. 50% of it was done on SmackDown. The other 50% is going to be done on Raw tonight as we're recording this. But on Friday, there was a draft pool, and the draft pool was different for Friday than it was on Monday night. So in NXT, superstars are a part of it, and these all go into effect as of May 5th. So next Monday, they all go into effect. And based off of Roman being the number 1 pick, that new World Heavyweight Championship is the Raw belt. So with the first round, they come out right away, and Triple H announces that Roman Reigns, as a package deal, it comes with Heyman and Solo Sikoa. okay, how are they a part of why does, if you pick Roman, you get a part of a package? That was my very first thought. Like, what the hell? So I mean, this is a pretty obvious number one pick, but
Well, he negotiated it like how he doesn't have to work as much. That's
well,
why we need another belt. That's why we have a package deal. It's all his negotiation skills. He's a master negotiator.
Who did he negotiate with? If Triple H is running the company,
yeah, how did he negotiate?
Vince? I mean,
I don't know. That's why it was my first thought. I was like, what the, as soon as they came out, like I was so like thoroughly impressed that they came out, laid out the ground rules, and then all of a sudden they were just like, okay, the first pick is 3 people.
It was Ari. He negotiated with Ari directly, skipped right over Gaucho Vince, went right to Ari and said, "This is what I'm doing, boss. Deal with it, or I'm walking out." He went with the pea shooter style, like Jeff Jarrett. He sat in the crowd, and just JR had to come over. Or it wouldn't be JR in this case. I guess it would be Michael Cole. Went over, talked to him, held him up.
Yeah, I saw some
I
people.
need the bald man with me.
I I saw some people fantasy booking that Roman was going to go to Raw so that he, like, I didn't think for 1 second that Roman was never going to not be on SmackDown. Like, Fox paid way too much money for that, to them not have the best champion on their show. And then with the obvious second pick in the first round was Cody to Raw, and then that's where we instantly all think, shit, they're gonna do it. They're gonna put that World Heavyweight Championship on Cody, and it's gonna be a less than belt. So I think you're totally right, Andretti. And as
I
much
hope I'm not.
I know, because
I
as
think it's Rollins.
we've
I think they know that. I think they know that that will be the perception.
But you
See,
want?
I
you
think
want
Triple
the
H is a
first-
little bit smarter.
You want the first champion of that belt to be somebody that is going to be established and good. So I'd give it credibility right away. So making it Rollins is probably the right call, in my opinion. Maybe he gets his win back over Cody. I don't know, in the finals.
well, that actually
Well, there's other options too now. So it doesn't have to be Rollins per se.
well, true.
They've drafted quite a few people.
They did.
Gunther. I mean, foreshadowing, but
Huh?
there's a certain Scotsman.
Yeah. So yeah, and then there are options. So and then SmackDown's pick in the first round for their second pick was Bianca Belair, and then Raw's pick was Becky Lynch. So Raw loses the Raw Women's Champion. It goes to SmackDown now. So I'm assuming we're going to have another awkward belt transition. I don't really like this is where I don't like when they do like the brand specifically named titles. So now you have a Raw Women's Champion. She stayed on Raw to challenge that Raw champion, and now she's going to SmackDown. Like, why can't we just have like a differently named World Championship without the mega branding? But we all know it is all about the branding. So that was my only two issues that I had with the women getting chosen. Not that specifically that it was women, but it was the fact that we're taking the Raw Women's Champion and now putting her on SmackDown after she stayed to beat that Raw champion.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. The whole format of this thing put me in a bad mood right away. I mean, WWE has been on friendship timeout with me for about the past month and a half. So I haven't watched anything. I watched Raw last week because it was the draft. Or was it SmackDown? I guess it was SmackDown. I watched SmackDown last weekend because it was the draft, but instantly hated it. And look, you had the NFL draft last week, okay, where there's rooms full of people crunching numbers and going over all this stuff and looking at charts and everything else. Why do we not have 2 rooms of fake analysts with legends as consultants? And what I would have done is brought the legends in for probably the month before they started to do the draft. And I would have had segments with the talent interacting with those legends. And then the legends would go on draft day and tell the GMs, this is the person you need to pick.
Wow.
And then you build feuds between the legends giving the rub and the legends bad mouthing people. and you just build it. You build the drama through it, and you get RVD involved and Teddy Long and whoever else. But like, they didn't maximize that, and it felt like a big miss to me. The whole draft, the whole presence of the draft felt like a miss. I mean, do you remember Battle Bowl, WCW Battle Bowl, when everybody was sitting in 2 locker rooms, right? And they would call out the names, and a guy would get up and grab his chair and throw his chair across the room because he was so pissed off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why are we not doing that, man?
I honestly have never even thought about building to the draft because all we've known is that they just announced.
They treat it like a one show stupid gimmick instead of something that's supposed to be important.
That would be such wow. Okay, so if you're listening to this, you better start quoting the damn Podski because I'm sick and tired of us coming up with good damn ideas on this show. And they go to the wasteland of the internet and we don't get any damn credit for it because I know people are listening to the damn show because a lot of the shit we talk about in here ends up leaking out somewhere else. Either that or we're damn good at what we do here, which is all the more reason to continue to listening to the Podski. But that is
sponsors.
Everything that you just said there
is
so incredibly good. I would have never thought to use legends instead of coming out there and just reading a card, which RVD read that card upside down on television after he came out and was reading it the right way in the pre-tape. He comes out and it's upside down to the crowd. So how high was that, dude?
They just wasted.
How Sean read that at all with that one eye? How he could even read? Road Dogg had to be given just whispering real quiet.
Speaking of people I don't ever need to see again, Road Dogg, it's time to take Old Yeller out behind.
Dude, think about what they could have done with Shawn Michaels being the head of NXT, right? And then they have him in there as the authority who's getting asked, "What's your opinion on Indy Hartwell?" Whatever, right? Well, what happens if Tiffany Stratton is still in NXT, right? Doesn't get drafted, and then now she's pissed off that Shawn Michaels went and stood up for somebody else and not for her. What the hell is your problem? Why'd you do that? I thought we had a good relationship. You went in there, you told them not to draft me, you told them to take somebody else. Why'd you do that? You can build all this heat and all this drama and use the legends effectively and make it entertaining and make it worthwhile. Don't just waste it. They just wasted everything. They wasted a whole opportunity.
Wow, that would actually be great. You could use Michaels as like the scout.
Yeah,
that would be so awesome. And I personally have never sat and thought about the draft like that.
Think about what it would have been like because he's had a little bit of a program with Grayson Waller, right? What if it would leak out, right? If it leaks out to somebody that Shawn Michaels badmouthed Grayson Waller to Teddy Long or to Adam Pearce, and now all of a sudden Grayson Waller's furious because he's not going to the main roster because Shawn Michaels screwed him over.
Yeah, it'd be a fantastic storyline. It would just further drive the long-term storytelling of the story that they've been doing for the last 6 months. Like, wow.
Would have been nice.
Give Andretti the damn book. He's been saying it for months.
You know what else sucked about that show, dude? You know what else sucked about SmackDown? They actually had really good matches, like combinations on that show, and they gave everybody 3 minutes in the ring.
I know. I was really excited to see Butch and LA Knight, and
when Pete Dunne and LA Knight were coming out there, I was like, these guys are going to kill each other. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
and it was 3 minutes.
I have one gripe with that particular match, and I was going to bury that match in a joke a minute ago, but I didn't. Okay, I know I'm not the gear snob, but can we get Pete Dunne some pants, please?
JC, at one point, Pete Dunne was the best heel in the world. He was the best heel in the freaking world, dude. And they just killed him dead.
I've seen like glimpses of that. I've watched some of his matches. Like, I'm cool with the character. I mean, the name is stupid. They should have just reverted back to Pete Dunne like they did on some other people. But whatever.
Well, they did say that they are going to do that. Like that Triple H, that was part of the draft process, is to get him out of being Butch and making him Pete Dunne again.
Well, he grew his hair out. But the thing is, I mean, they made the guy lose 150 pounds, and he looks like a 15-year-old.
Yes.
Now he's
that bugged the crap out of me.
He was putting weight back on.
Yeah.
He just looked like a teenager. He looked like a total goof. And I know he's a better wrestler than that, and I know he can talk, and I know he's a badass and everything, but like you look at his spindly little legs, and it's like Hornswoggle's older brother, but didn't get the pants.
Oh wow.
And I just like and I didn't want to have that opinion because I know he can, he's a good worker and everything. But it's just like, brother, can we get you like even some shorts? Like,
I don't even know about
I don't know.
I hate, man, boy, do I hate the Grayson Waller attire. I hate it. And Andretti probably actually likes it. But I hate it.
I like it because there's nobody else that dresses like it.
Well, that's true. I guess because he's a one of one that it's okay. But if there was multiple people like in that gear, I'd hate it. Ugh. But
I mean, you want to talk about these NXT call ups?
Yeah, I mean, we could run over some of the stuff in the second and third rounds if we want to.
Sure.
So the second round, SmackDown took the Street Profits, wet fart. Raw took Imperium, so the IC champion moves to Raw. So obviously, Theory's going to come to SmackDown, which I think that is probably a good idea to get Theory on a big show, get him on a big stage. They want to push him. They want him to be better. We've talked ad nauseum about Austin Theory here for a while, and we don't know if that Cena match did anything for him at WrestleMania. So I think this is a good way to see if that actually did anything for him. But I'm more excited to see Gunther on Raw. Who knows? I mean, that's a new cool tag team. Imperium on Raw adds, you could put Imperium versus Judgment Day. So that those are cool things that we can definitely see now. We're getting the switch with Edge going from Raw to SmackDown. I enjoy that. Let's get Edge some fresh faces to work with. And then the 8th pick in the second round was Matt Riddle staying on Raw, which, another wet fart noise. Don't care about Matt Riddle at all anymore.
No.
I really liked the Imperium switch. As somebody who watches Raw, I really like that. And then some of the other picks that they made, okay, so now you've got Cody, you've got Gunther and them. I mean, that is whoever wins that new belt the first time. There's your first opponent.
I really think that that's really cool that they put Gunther on Raw with Cody, especially after we got like that 15-minute match at the end of the Royal Rumble.
Sure.
Like, that's really cool. Like, Gunther could be a boss to get to Reigns for Cody if that is still the plan, like we've been talking to. So, and then round 3, we have Lashley going back to SmackDown, which is Lashley dead?
He's been dead for 3 years.
Ever since they broke up.
They should have never broke up Hurt Locker or whatever the hell they were called.
They absolutely should have never broke them up. Ugh.
Because none of those guys have done a damn thing.
No.
They should have just kept those guys together and let MVP be the JJ Dillon of today. That's what they should have done. They should have been a Black Horseman, dude. That's what they should have been. They looked phenomenal out there in suits, being businessmen. I loved every second of that group, man. I don't know why they didn't run with that for 10 years.
Missed opportunities again. Drew does the switch to Raw, which that makes JC happy. You're a big Drew guy. And then we had the big return. AJ Styles returned, and he's going to be on SmackDown with the Good Brothers, Anderson and Gallows. Good to see them back. I know that.
Do you have a toilet noise where you just push the button and it flushes the toilet?
Why?
Dude, I got nothing for them, dude.
What? I mean, I don't know anymore.
They're really funny, and those talking shop manias are hilarious. But in the ring, I don't ever want to see these people again.
I love that Gallows literally showed up like he was at WrestleMania, and all that he did all week was drink 95 boxed wines and just brothered out the entire week and did
all the gummies.
Yes,
ate all the gummies.
We need the OC to be good, and we need the OC to do something on SmackDown. I don't know why we're adding Mia Yim in there. I don't know how that really fits. Does anyone know? Like, Do you have any backstory on that, Andretti?
There's got to be some kind of connection there with her. But that's the new thing now, and it is what it should be. Is there should be a women's representative in the group, in my opinion.
I don't disagree. I just didn't know if there was like a.
I don't know. I don't know if there is. I'm sure there is, but I don't know what it is.
That's still, I like that idea.
We're sorry your husband stopped dyeing his hair.
Talk about
work with
dead.
work with the OC.
Keith Lee's deader than Kelsey's nuts.
Mordecai Keith Lee.
Go away.
The ghost of Keith Lee passed.
God.
I don't know what to do with Keith Lee other than make him a producer. I don't know what to do with him at this point.
Yeah. Ugh. And then Mongoose's favorite, The Miz, staying on Raw. I'm totally okay with Miz staying on Raw.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
They got 3 hours of TV. It's really funny because we got a lot of different variations of what people watch on today's show. Like JC's a Raw guy. Andretti, you like everything. And I am predominantly a SmackDown Dynamite guy.
I'm a little disappointed that you did not throw in the Dynamite on mine as well. That's the only thing I watch.
You watch Dynamite every week. I should have threw that in there.
You know, the show that I watch the most consistently is New Japan.
Yeah,
everything I watch all their shows.
Yeah,
and I'll miss, like I said, WWE is on friendship timeout with me until after Backlash. So I put them on like a 60-day notice. Where I wasn't talking to WWE for like 40 days or whatever it was. But after I'm gonna watch Backlash and then I'll start watching it again next week. But I'll probably watch Raw tonight and just to see the draft stuff. But look, man, it's like I said to you before, like when you were out here in LA and we were doing the reviews every day, like you gotta just step back and you've got to look at each promotion individually in their own vacuum. And if you can do that as a fan, you will enjoy a lot more wrestling than what you think you will enjoy. Because if you compare everybody together, you're going to get pissed off.
Yeah, and I think that's where I kind of got at one point, especially like last year. Like I was trying to compare AEW to WWE, and they're not the same thing. They're not even remotely close. And
look, NXT and WWE are two different things.
Yeah. And they're under the same umbrella, same branding and all that. And
the only promotion that doesn't really feel like they have their own vacuum is AEW. And it's because there's so much crossover with the other promotions that you don't really get an AEW feel, in my opinion. Because when you watch NXT, everything in NXT is the NXT universe, right? It
Mm-hmm.
just feels like it is its own thing. WWE feels like it is its own thing. New Japan feels like it's its own thing. I don't feel like AEW does. But you know, that doesn't mean I don't like it. I mean, I watched all of the first night of the Lucha World Cup, the AAA thing that's up on YouTube for free right now. You should check it out because they got representatives from people from all over the world that are doing trios matches, right? So the USA team is Sam Adonis, which is Corey Graves' brother, and Christopher Daniels, and of course it's John Morrison is the third guy in the USA team. So that was, I mean, look, it's great. It's great it really, and I'm being completely honest with you guys with this stuff. When I just got to a point where I step back and I view every promotion differently. Now I love everything, dude. And I really do enjoy watching all the shows.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point to make, especially like if you can take a step back and you can enter the world that they want you to live in, then you can start to appreciate all of it. Because once I started doing that with WWE, I appreciated it a lot more. I started coming back to it, dipping my toes in the water. Obviously, WrestleMania played a big deal in all that, but yeah, I definitely get that feel. I love whenever you turn on a New Japan show and Kevin, and like you're getting Kevin Kelly and he's putting you in there.
Yep.
And yeah, that's we're going to put over Kevin Kelly again because he is one of, if not the best announcer in the business.
Look, man, it is a huge, very diverse, very accepting industry. And there's something out there for everybody to like and to appreciate. There's a niche out there in pro wrestling for everybody, that anything you could possibly want to see, man. If you're really into, the Effie's Big Gay Brunch, then you're gonna find stuff like that on GCW that you're gonna fall in love with. If you love the WWE, you love the WWE. But everything is different. And if you love wrestling and you like seeing a bunch of different things across a bunch of different platforms that are going to be very different from each other, then you're going to have an unbelievable experience checking all that stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one thing I did, real quick, then we can move on, John. One thing I started to do is I stopped trying to be critical of everything. Like, there's some stuff that's just not for me. And this was especially true with AEW, and it's where it really came to my mind, was it's supposed to be a smorgasbord. Whatever kind, it's supposed to be a wide variety of wrestling. I tried to just say, okay, well, that segment wasn't for me, but there's a segment of the audience, hopefully, that likes that thing. Okay, I don't have to like that. I could think it sucks. Whatever. But I tried to stop being so damn critical about stuff and just try and enjoy it. And if I don't enjoy it, then I'll just zone out for a couple minutes, and the next thing I'll probably enjoy. And I have to do that with Raw, because I want to watch Cody and I want to watch now Drew. And, there are some things I want to watch, and then there's like 2.5 hours of other stuff I don't really care about that much, but they have it spaced out that I'm watching. And I might find something else I'm into. And I think that's kind of the point. And like, I spend most of my day being analytical and critical, and I want to enjoy wrestling just like the opposite of that. I don't want to be so grumpy and critical, and this should do it this way, and this is the only way to do it kind of thing. Like, I went through a phase with that with wrestling, and I just want to watch what I want to watch. Like, if I got to watch Raw to see Cody, okay, I'll watch Raw to see Cody and Drew and now Gunther and, whoever else they draw. Or whoever else they draft. And there's some days I just want to watch a bunch of spots and people aren't, beating the tar out of each other like Gunther does. And maybe they're going to break their neck, maybe not. That's interesting. I'm going to be interested in that. And, then there's other things that like are just boring and stupid, and why did they do it that way? And I'll think about that afterwards. But I think you make a good point about, we don't need to be critical about everything. We don't need to compare everything. Like, I got plenty of stuff to be angry and grumpy about in life. Just let me have my entertainment.
Sure.
Please.
I still get
really
critical in the WWE because they're the industry leader, and I always have hope for them. You know what I mean? I just like the NFL, dude. Like, they're the industry leader in football. I really have hope that they're going to always do the right thing and grow it and grow the industry, and then the WWE just pisses me off. They just miss it. They just miss it sometimes, man. Or they do things like this draft where they've had a real opportunity to create an unbelievable event that should happen every year, and they just throw it together in 10 seconds, and they tell 3 legends to get on a plane, hurry up and get here for Friday night. And then they throw it together. It's like, dude, just do it better. Do it better. Everything you're doing is right. Just do it better. Take some pride in your work.
Damn pride. Get some damn pride. What?
I have some students I need you to give that pep talk to.
Man, I've given it the take some pride in your work talk to 100,000 athletes over the last 13 years, dude. So I understand. I'm yelling into the wind, dude. That's why I was so worried about the Podski gonna be the last episode. Who am I gonna yell into the wind at? I got nobody to talk to anymore.
No,
just start your own network.
We ain't going anywhere. So I need to ask the question. What put them on friendship timeout? Mania? Or the night after WrestleMania?
I think it was Vince being back.
Yeah.
Vince coming back, I was like, I'm going to just step back and I'm going to see how this goes over the next month and not get worked up, because I know the shows are going to be a mess with him rewriting everything. I'm just going to step back, not get pissed off. I'm going to go watch 20 hours a week of CMLL if I want to do that, or I'm going to go watch freaking All Japan or something, where I still enjoy it and not yell at my TV because I know that it's only bad because one person screws it up in the moment every second. And that's why I couldn't watch WWE for 20 years.
Yeah, I know that it hasn't affected me yet. And it is obvious I think there was always some obvious Vince spots in there, but the more that you hear, I don't know, I just want Vince gone. And he's never gonna go away, and it only seems like it's gonna get worse, but apparently he was doing a bunch of stuff last minute at this show on Friday.
Of course he did.
So, but I know you want to get to the NXT talk because you do love NXT. So, in the final round that was on television before they did some online stuff, SmackDown took Damage Control. So I thought that was really interesting because it seemed like they were going to break up Damage Control. So now that they can come over to the SmackDown brand, give them a new fresh painted coat. And
I wish they would have broke them up.
I kind of do too. I mean, you're a huge Dakota Kai fan. I just want to see Bayley get back to the old Bayley. It feels like she's not herself anymore.
Yeah.
That NXT Bayley was so awesome.
It's weird.
You think she wants to leave?
I don't know, man. Maybe. It doesn't really.
I feel like she's
really
just
seem
her
like,
and her and Mercedes just.
Yeah, they're close. I think.
Yeah.
Look, NXT still has to be a TV show, and they still have to worry about ratings, and they've got to make sure that there's people watching that show. When you pull up Alba Fire, who I've been a huge fan of for 100 years, in NXT UK and everywhere else, you pull her up, you pull up Isla Dawn, who's pretty good, and you pull up Zoe Stark and the champion. What are we doing, dude? There's just nothing left. You're putting people who are so green on TV. Somebody's going to win that belt who's green as hell, dude.
I'm really concerned, or I don't understand why. Like Zoe Stark, 100% makes sense.
Yes,
should have been drafted. She should have been drafted on the main show, not on the internet exclusive or whatever that was. But Alba Fire and Isla Dawn just won that belt at Mania. Yeah. They won it a month ago.
They're both great. They're both really talented, and they're going to be awesome as a tag team. They're going to be awesome.
Right? Yeah, and I really like their match that they had at Takeover, and Indy, like. We all love Indy, but I don't think that we all think that Indy was going to be, we always kind of thought of Indy as a transitional champion, and she clearly is and was. And
I mean, she has been in NXT developmental for what, 6 years?
Something like that.
At some point, you got to throw her in the fire and see what she's got, dude.
I guess so.
I mean, they got everybody from that group. The NXT group is all going to be on the same show, right? Gargano, Candice LeRae, Loomis, and her are all going to be on the same show. So they're going to do something there, and that's fine. Do whatever you want. But is Indy Hartwell still employed in a year and a half? Is she still on the roster in a year and a half?
I don't know the
answer to that.
I guess we're all waiting for the cuts, too. The post-Mania cuts haven't happened yet.
I mean, the fact that they were seriously considering putting that belt on Tiffany Stratton, I mean, dude, what are we doing, man? I mean, I love her. I think she's going to be awesome. There's no way she should be the champ. That's why I was hoping they were going to break up Damage Control and send Dakota Kai down there to be the champ like they did with Mandy Rose. Just do that for 6 months. Or Io Shirai. Do whatever. Do that.
It can't hurt Dakota Kai. The only thing it's going to hurt is if she gets hurt again.
She's not going anywhere because Michaels and Triple H like her a lot as a worker. So she's not going anywhere. But Io Shirai is somebody that could go back to Stardom at any moment and be phenomenal.
Yeah, I just whenever JC you said about the does Bayley want to leave it, like tickled my brain a little bit because you think about like somebody like Batu Trinity who just randomly shows up on Impact this week, which that does not move the needle for me. That doesn't move the needle for me at all. But
Stardom told her they don't have a job for her.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Wow. Seriously?
Yeah, they did.
Just not a good enough worker?
She's not. Is the thing.
She really isn't. I mean, I don't want to bury her on here, but like
right.
What
that's a high level working promotion. I mean, Yeah, you got to
So-
be able to work your tail off there.
I mean, there's still goofy stuff in there, man. Just like any other promotion, there's people at the top that are completely fantastic, and then there's people on the undercard that you're like, what the hell am I watching? It's just like it is in WWE. WWE is the same way.
So, Andretti, is Stardom, is their roster bigger than what, I'm assuming the roster is vastly larger than what Tokyo Joshi Pro is, right?
I would think. I don't know. I have no idea what the contract situations are like with them, if they're all full time or if they're, like they are in AEW where they're signed, but they're not, like they're in different tiers. I have no idea how that works with the Japanese promotions, but I would think, I mean, I don't know if everybody on that last Stardom show, I don't know if everybody on that card is a dedicated Stardom worker or not. But there were a hell of a lot of people working on that show over the course of 5.5 hours.
Yeah, because I find that crazy that, Stardom would want somebody, because, I mean, Naomi does have some star power. I don't know if it's certainly not as high as what it once was, but she always got the start and stop all the time. And
It's still a Japanese promotion, and they still cater to that audience.
Yeah. So I didn't know if anybody, I'm surprised somebody like New Japan, well, I guess they probably wouldn't want to bring Banks and Naomi in at the same time. That would not make a lot of sense for them. But
they're pretty careful about not giving the impression that they're going to overrun the promotion with American talent.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just a little
the same way.
I'm really worried about that women's division in NXT now because of this, the way that this played out. I just don't know. Like,
well, you got to bring somebody in, and you either have to drop somebody down to carry everybody, like a Dakota Kai or an Io Shirai, or bring in. I mean, like I told you the other day, dude. I think Miko Satomura needs to be the champ. I mean, they fed her to Roxanne Perez. She's a legend in Japan. She's already under contract. Give her the belt for 6 months, and let her be the dominant killer for 6 months. And then grow someone to beat her.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they took all of their champions and like their biggest worker from the women's division out in one fell swoop. Like I didn't really realize that until we talked it through there. But
I mean, look, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, if you're listening, I got names for you. There's people out there on the indie scene. I can give you names, man, if you want to bring somebody in. But hit me up and slide into my DMs, and I'll help you out.
Trish Adora,
executive consultant.
I'll give you one right now. They can sign Trish Adora.
I like Trish Adora a lot. I mean, you got Vert Vixen out there, Kylan King. I don't know what her contract is like in Impact right now, but there's plenty of people out there, man, that are fantastic that could come in there and be a jump start to a division that needs a lot of help right now. Because I think even Saul Ruka's hurt, right? Did she tear her knee up or something?
She tore her knee up. Yeah.
She was another one that was getting pushed. So like who was left? You're gonna have to go with. Did Cora Jade get drafted?
Not yet.
Not yet, but I think she's in the pool.
She probably will tonight.
What do you think happens with Roxy?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's interesting that they were going to go with Stratton instead of her in that 3-way.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is there, but she's what, 20 years old or whatever it is, and she's unbelievably talented. I mean, even in that 3-way match, I mean, Perez was doing stuff in that match that the other two girls had absolutely no idea how to even respond to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She did. I mean, look, that girl grew up in Laredo, dude. I mean, she did a lucha move off the rope where she was holding on to both of them, and when she landed the move, both of them looked like they didn't know what the hell they were supposed to do, and they just fell to the ground like idiots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're just green. They're just super green. They don't know how to respond to that, and that's why you got to, in my opinion, you got to bring somebody in who or give that belt to Satomura. It's a shame that Emi Sakura is under contract to AEW or Ring of Honor, because Emi Sakura could be somebody that would come in there as a final boss heel and kill everybody and do a hell of a job putting people over and working with everybody to get them where they need to be. But I think Satomura is the right call.
Huh. Yeah, I did not realize how decimated this NXT roster is going to be. Did they call any of the men up?
I don't think so yet.
So maybe
Pretty Deadly did, right? Well, Pretty Deadly got killed. They got killed off in the spring break and show. They got thrown in a river. They're dead. So yeah. in NXT lore, that means that they're not coming back.
Right. I'm cool with Pretty Deadly on the main roster. We said that for a while that Pretty Deadly is going to make their way up, which Raw is getting ready to start in a couple minutes.
They did draft Von Wagner. Von Wagner got pulled up. I saw that.
Okay.
Oh, JD McDonough as well.
Oh, McDonough's good. McDonough's really good. He'll have great matches with everybody.
Where'd McDonough go?
I don't know. I don't know what show it was.
I don't think I got it here on my results, but either way, but yeah, I mean the draft. There's some good names. There's some good shakeups. I think it's what they did was good, but I think but like it's everything that you said, Andretti. They could do it better, and it should be better. And I don't know. We'll see what happens tonight on Raw. But the only other thing that I want to cover here today is this. I know that we've been talking a lot about the All In show. So they have 60K signups.
Incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible. 60,000 people pre-sale signups, and I think those tickets go on sale this week. So all good signs, and hopefully they sell as many tickets as close to 90,000 as possible.
So not 90 is the cap.
Yep, around 90 is around the cap. Yeah.
I mean, look, man, if you get 65 or 70 into that building, that's a hell of an effort.
Yeah, they said that. They said that they have CM Punk will be there, and they have a rumored either return or debut. So they have a big return and or debut. So I don't know who that is or what that will be.
My first thought on that was Ibushi, but he's close friends with Kenny Omega. So why would they put Ibushi on the show with Punk?
Well, why wouldn't? Why wouldn't they put it?
I think that this big return, or the new hire is going to the Punk show.
Oh, well, I also heard that so it's going to be FTR and Punk on the Collision show versus, and I think that they're going to face Jericho first. So all this Jericho's been talking about is all work because they did go meet, and that's the whole reason why. So they did say that, I think Wade Keller said this. It was either Wade Keller or PW Insider said that the only reason Punk showed up to Raw last week was because he was in Orlando with Tony to talk to Jericho, and he met up with a bunch of friends down there, and that's how he ended up on the plane back to Chicago with everybody.
I think it's much ado about nothing with all of that.
I absolutely think so too. And the fact that he showed up at Impact, he just trolled everybody for the rest of the weekend.
Well, I did see something that he talked to Miz about burying the hatchet with the Miz, and then he went to Impact to talk to somebody at Impact that he had heat with. I don't even remember who it was.
Yeah. So he's there. It's coming, and Punk will be back. And I think that it's going to be JAS versus CMFTR.
Sure. Okay.
Why not launch that show that way? I feel like it's a great segue to, launch your show.
Do you the two of you think that we're getting more belts?
Probably.
I was just gonna make a joke about the now they're gonna need an AEW heavyweight championship tag title so that the Young Bucks can feel good.
I mean, look, man, if they've got
FTR can have the real ones.
If they've got split rosters with those egos, I can see that happening. I hate to say it, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think CM Punk's going to be a champion, and so is MJF.
What I think that they should do is they should take the championships they already have now, like take that All-American belt or that All-International belt or whatever that is, and make that the Collision show champion. That way you can do whatever you want with that.
Sure.
And you can just bring in people in and feed your system that way. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on that, because I don't really think that Orange Cassidy needs that belt. So,
no, we're getting to the point where he should drop it soon.
Yeah,
because he's had so many good matches, man.
He really has, yeah. But yeah, there's just I can't believe it. They got 60K signups for that. That's incredible. They're gonna outdo everybody. I also heard that All In is gonna be an HBO Max exclusive, and it will be the pay-per-view.
Okay, well, good. I mean, I was just going to ask you if either of you had heard anything about what they're doing with All In.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's concrete in stone, but I think that I read somewhere on Twitter that a Warner executive or somebody like that leaked it out that All In is going to be an HBO Max exclusive as like a trial run, I guess, for AEW to eventually make it over to the app, and then they're gonna have the actual pay-per-view for All Out be an actual pay-per-view, which
I
is
just thought,
now they can use All In as a launch pad for All Out.
yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
and that's where I think that's where we get a big return. I don't know, or a big debut. I don't know. It could be Miro, could be Goldberg. I know JC doesn't want to see Goldberg. I don't think we need Goldberg, but
I think if he wants that last match with somebody, man, and you're not going to give it to him in the WWE, then why not? Why
they.
not do it?
I don't say why not. I'm totally okay with it. I just don't want him to go out there and blow himself up and look like an idiot.
And then blow someone else up.
Yeah.
Like their brain.
I mean, I speaking of Hart, I do think they need to push all their money into the middle of the table and get him at that show. I really do.
I do too.
I want to see him in the middle of the ring at the Wembley show, talking about what it means to be there and how awesome of an event that was than when he was there with Davey. I mean, if you like, I don't like David Hart, but if you want to bring out David Hart and give me the big hug in the middle of the ring and everybody's clapping, I'm awesome. I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Your favorite wrestler of all time, David Hart.
Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he's not terrible in the ring, for what he is, but he's not my cup of tea, but I would like to see some kind of a special moment with Hart and maybe him in Wembley. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I think that would be really nice. Oh, before I forget, I did have two things
Oh boy.
to add to Andretti's list of things for today. Today is I believe the 20th anniversary or the 15-year anniversary of the Steiner mathematician promo. That was 15 years
Awesome.
ago today. And also, things that we didn't have on the bingo card this year was Snitsky on MLW.
I didn't even hear about this.
He came out to MLW last week.
Did
Not
he
his fault.
did he kick a baby into the crowd?
He didn't, but it just said he just screamed, "It's not my fault," and he came out and wreaked havoc on the ring.
They're doing they're going to reveal somebody in New Japan, and I don't know who it is. Somebody's either coming back or
Ooh.
there's a new one. I don't know who it is though.
I did see that they had a promo video today on Twitter.
Who is it? Have you heard anything about that?
I have not. I've been so disconnected from Dave because after the WrestleMania stuff, man, after the being out there that week, and I know that Mongoose likes to get on here and put him over. We absolutely just I can't take Dave anymore. I can't do it. So it's I'm so far out of the news. A lot of what I've been trying to listen to is SRS and Cultaholic, because they give Cultaholic's really good. They give like YouTube videos really quickly. They're about 8 to 10 minutes every single day, and they talk about all the relevant topics of each day. So that's why
Yeah,
I
I
like
like that. That's good.
Sorry, I got to break in here. Apparently, Brock Lesnar has the same lawyer as Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
He has negotiated himself to be a free agent. He can work on any roster he chooses.
Oh, for shit's sake.
So
In the opening match, so he can get back on the plane quick.
exactly, he's gonna kill Cody dead, and
Oh.
then just hang out at the beach for a week.
He ain't
Oh.
hanging out on the beach. He's going back to Saskatchewan so he can dance in the snow and grab an elk by the horns and shove a knife in its ear.
They're gonna
You know,
do a belt switch with the ladies. They just drafted Rhea back to Raw, so they're just gonna hand belts back and forth.
Oh God, I hate that.
They wanted her back with Judgment Day.
I understand that. I just don't like the belt handing over. It feels so shitty, and it's like they don't mean anything.
They don't mean.
And
they
they're gonna
don't-
do the same thing with the. They're gonna do the same thing with the mid card because they just.
But they
went off
don't
on
mean
SmackDown.
anything in WWE, and that's the problem.
They're gonna leave the IC title on SmackDown, and they're gonna do a switch like that. Why would they do? Gunther's supposed to be like a 2-year, 3-year champion.
They haven't said anything yet. I'm saying they switched people.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if
they said Austin Theory, and they had him with the belt going over to SmackDown.
okay,
And-
I'm about to get really pissed if they take that belt off Gunther and they give him the US belt.
Oh, and Seth is staying on Raw.
All right, so Seth's going to win that belt.
Could be.
Yeah. You got anything else we want to put over before we head out of here?
No, I'm looking forward to Backlash, man. I think it'll be a good show. Should
Do
be
we want to run over the
good
card
time.
for Backlash?
Yeah, let's go over it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so Saturday, May 6th, if you're listening, that is this coming weekend.
What time? What time is that show? Your time?
It is our time. There's no time on here. What the hell?
I got to find out what time it's going to be on. Does it being in Puerto Rico have any effect on the time? I would think not. Is that?
I don't think that they're. I don't
8
think
Eastern.
8 Eastern. Okay, I didn't think that they
Yeah.
were in a different time zone. So okay, fair enough. Good start time. So we got obviously we got Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. We obviously have Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes, which we assume that Lesnar is going to kill Cody Rhodes dead, which I hope not. But
No, my genuine prediction is Cody's going over.
yeah, I think that Cody's going to get the shit beat out of him early, and then he's going to have the big hope spot and come back somehow.
Yeah, I agree.
We got Bloodline versus Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle. How about that? I'm actually interested.
Wait. What was that?
The Bloodline, which is Solo and the Usos versus Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle.
I don't care about that at all.
It's just because of Matt Riddle.
I don't care about Riddle at all.
Agreed.
The reason
He's on Raw tonight.
the reason they have Riddle in there is because Solo is the one that hurt Riddle.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So yeah. And then we have Rhea versus Zelina for which is now Raw Women's Championship, not the SmackDown Women's Championship.
That'll be the match of the night.
Yeah, that match is gonna be really good. And then for the SmackDown Women's Championship is gonna be Bianca Belair versus Io Sky, which actually is a lie. That it is for the SmackDown and the Raw. They're staying the same because the draft doesn't start until next Monday.
That's right. It's after the draft.
Okay. And then the U.S. Championship is Austin Theory versus Lashley and Bronson Reed. That's got match of the night potential too.
Put that belt on a Reed.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I don't know if Theory needs a belt. Does he?
I think Theory might need a lot at this point.
Better gimmick.
Yeah. I love the guy, but something's not working.
Well, we traveled the
Inauthentic.
airs together. We went through TSA together. So, does that make us Air Brothers?
There's your tag team. Put them in a tag team with the Air Brothers. You could wear you guys could wear fighter pilot outfits and be like Top Gun.
Yes.
Oh my God, that would pop. Oh,
JC,
John, that's his best thing. He's living his best life.
give me the book, dude. Give me the book.
I'm telling you, the book. It's all yours.
The book is absolutely all yours because Top Gun is a top 5 movie of all time. And if you don't think Top Gun is a top 5 movie of all time, I'm sorry. I got news for you. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, so this Damian Priest and Bad Bunny match is going to be a Puerto Rican street fight. So I'm here for that. I'm actually like Bad Bunny. Like I'm cool. And I'm cool with Damian Priest as well. Like let's put a spotlight on Priest.
That guy was so much bigger than I expected him to be. When we saw him at the convention center, and look, I'm 6'4", dude. That guy was tall. That guy was way bigger than me. It felt like.
And he felt like he was ready to cast a spell on all of us at some point in time. Like he had the darkest shades on, and he walked so slow, and you couldn't get within 5 feet of him. And he just nosed around like he had no idea where he was walking. He was like a wizard, just hovering over the ground. And then our final match is Seth Rollins versus Omos. So I don't really know what to do with that match. We'll see. JC's giving it a thumbs down. I got a little bit of faith.
I hope they don't feed Rollins to him, dude.
Yeah, I don't either.
That smells like Vinnie Mac, big time.
God damn, pal.
I've had more interesting turds than that match.
Andretti, are you going to watch Backlash, or are you?
I am absolutely going to watch Backlash.
Okay, so they're off timeout as of Friday night at 10 p.m.
They're on a soft timeout right now because I'm gonna watch some of Raw tonight.
Okay, so a soft timeout.
They were in a hard timeout.
Okay, so for
Then
parents,
I had to watch the draft. I had to watch the draft, so they were in a soft timeout. But I'm not watching SmackDown this week.
Okay, so parenting 101, a hard timeout is blank.
I took the phone away and the iPad, and the kid went to the room, and you're going to think about what you did.
Okay. Okay, and a soft timeout is
Soft timeout is when I let you check your email once a night.
Oh my. Well, so they'll be off timeout very soon because
give me the book and your kids. I'll raise your kids. Go to your room. Hard time.
Oh man.
I don't have anything else after that one. I feel like it's perfect time for a dismount.
Shut it down.
Oh God.
Make sure you check
Give me
it
the book and your kids.
Yep. Oh, well, make sure you check us out on Twitter at @the_Podski, Instagram @the_Podski. You can check JC and Andretti out on there as well. Andretti is the Cambria County, what is
Cambria
it?
County Coroner.
Yes. Good Lord. I don't know what's happening to me. I'm getting all twisted up here.
At Cambria County Coroner, follow me for all your new life advice.
And JC is on there as well. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. We got a lot of archive shows hitting up on the YouTube, so be on the lookout for those. Check us out everywhere you get your pods. We're on every single one now. So, and with that, we will see you next time on the Podski.